Okay, financial ratio analysis, take one, again, when you're conducting the financial ratio analysis, your subject companies, the first one's going to be Goldman Sachs, and you're going to compare it against JP Morgan. You can look at the recent quarter, you can look at a trailing 4-quarter average or a median for the individual ratios for the individual companies. The peer group, I would use the top 5 banks plus Goldman, throw them in as a 6th. And then what you want to do, I'll walk you through over here. So you put in the banks here, and then I would put in the last 4 quarters, let's say return on assets for JP Morgan. You can take an average of the last 4 quarters, you can take the median of the last 4 quarters. That's going to smooth out any variability in the ratios, and then boom, you got it, okay? Once you get those averages or the medians, you could take the average of the averages and get the average, which would be the average for the peer group. You could do the same thing for the average of the median, boom, or the median of the medians, and you can get the peer group. The best way to do it is to take the average of the median ratio, let's say return on assets for JP Morgan. You can pick whatever one you want. Boom, you got the ratio return on assets for JP Morgan. Now what we'll do is, and you can do that for all the other banks too. So now we got the ratios for the banks, but now we got to get the peer group, okay? And again, you can take the average of the average, or average of the median, or median of the median, whatever you want to do, but the best way to do it is to take the weighted average. So what I would do is plug in for each of the banks their assets, total assets, and then I would sum up all of the assets for the peer group, and then take that total and divide it back into the assets of the individual banks. By doing that, you're going to get weights. The weights are going to sum up to 100. Once you get the corresponding weights, then you take the weights and you bring them over here and you put in the weights. And again, remember they have to add up to 100. Well, now I have the average or the median of the, let's say, return on assets for JP Morgan, and I want to use the median over here. So I get the median return on assets for JP Morgan, and I get the weight for JP Morgan based on their assets as a percentage of the total assets of the peer group. And again, what I do is I'll take the return on asset ratio times the corresponding JP Morgan weight will give me the weighted return on assets for JP Morgan. And you do that for Wells Fargo and B of A and Citi and US Bank. And you then sum up these weighted return on asset ratios, and the weighted average for the return on assets will be the peer group return on assets. So again, once you get the weights, you can just put the return on assets, return on equity, the P ratios. You can put those in. Once you build the table, then you can just copy it and paste it into another worksheet and just replace return on assets with return on equity, and those weighted averages of the ratios will be used as the peer group in your financial condition, financial position slides within your PowerPoint presentation. And that's it on the ratios. Good luck, everybody.